8 Takeaways from the book The Art of War by Sun Tzu. First lesson: the 5 moral laws that all generals must observe. 5 constant factors govern the art of war, which must be considered on the battlefield. These include the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, technique, and discipline. The moral law causes the people to be in total agreement with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of the risk to their lives. Heaven represents night and day, cold and heat, seasons and times. The planet Earth is comprised of vast and minute distances, danger and safety, open land and narrow passes, and the possibilities of life and death. The commander represents the virtues of intelligence, sincerity, benevolence, bravery, and rigor. Method and discipline should be utilized in the marshaling of the army into its proper subdivisions. The promotion of officers to higher ranks, the maintenance of supply routes, and the management of military expenditures. Every general should be familiar with these 5 heads. Those who know them will prevail, while those who do not, will fail. Lesson 2. The pinnacle of excellence is breaking the enemy's resistance without conflict. These are the 5 elements necessary for victory. When a general knows when to fight, and when not to fight, he will be victorious. A general will be victorious if he is able to command both superior and inferior forces. A general will be able to lead his troops to victory when his entire army is animated by the same spirit. A general will be victorious if he prepares himself while waiting for the enemy to be unprepared. Whoever possesses military capacity will prevail, and the sovereign will not interfere. Thus the proverb, "If you know your enemy and yourself, you have nothing to fear from the outcome of 100 battles." If you know yourself but not the enemy, you will suffer a defeat for every victory you achieve. If you do not know your enemy, or yourself, you will lose every battle. Third lesson: employ direct and indirect methods of combat to ensure victory. In battle, there are only 2 attack methods, direct and indirect. However, the combination of these 2 attack methods produces an infinite number of maneuvers. As with the sun and moon, they end but begin again. As with the 4 seasons, they pass away and return. There are no more than 5 musical notes, but their combinations produce more melodies than could ever be heard. There are only 5 primary colors: blue, yellow, red, white, and black, but their combination produces more shades than can be seen. There are only 5 primary tastes: sour, acrid, salty, sweet, and bitter, but their combinations produce more flavors than can be tasted. Lesson 4. Use your strengths against your opponent's weaknesses to win. Even though he is protected by a high rampart and a deep ditch, the enemy can be forced to engage in combat, if combat is desired. You need only attack another location that he will be compelled to defend. If you do not wish to engage in combat, you can prevent the enemy from engaging you, even if your camp lines are merely drawn on the ground. You need only throw something odd and inexplicable in his path. By learning the enemy's dispositions, and remaining unseen, it is possible to keep your forces concentrated, while the enemies are scattered. Fifth lesson: consider ways to put your adversary at a disadvantage, then modify your strategy as you move forward. An army without a baggage train is ineffective. It is lost if there are no provisions, it is lost if there are no sources of supply. You cannot form alliances until you have an understanding of your neighbor's intentions. You are not qualified to lead an army unless you are familiar with the terrain, including its mountains and forests, pitfalls and cliffs, marshes and swamps. Unless you employ local guides, you will not be able to use natural advantages to your advantage. You will succeed in war if you practice deception. Lesson 6. Adapt your combat tactics based on real-time feedback as you implement your battle strategy. The art of war teaches us not to rely on the likelihood that the enemy will not attack, but rather on our own readiness to do so. Not on the chance that he won't attack, but on the fact that we've made our position unassailable. Seventh lesson: establish a strong position and use it as a strategic base for your assaults. Camp in elevated locations, facing the sun. Do not ascend in order to engage in combat. Once you have crossed a river, you should move away from it. Do not advance to meet an invading force in midstream, when it crosses a river on its forward march. It is best to allow half the army to cross before launching an assault. Every army prefers high ground to low ground, D and sunny locations to dark ones. If you take care of your soldiers and camp on hard ground, your army will be free of all diseases, and this will result in victory. When approaching a hill or bank, stay on the sunny side with the slope to your right. Thus, you will simultaneously act for the benefit of your soldiers, and take advantage of the terrain's natural advantages. Lesson 8, Effectively collect, organize, integrate, and disseminate information for improved decision-making. Whether you intend to destroy an army, storm a city, or assassinate a person, you must be prepared. It is always necessary to begin by learning the names of the commanding general's attendants, aide-de-camp, doorkeepers, and sentries. Your spies must be tasked with gathering this information. The spies of the enemy, who have come to spy on us, must be tracked down, bribed, led away, and housed in comfort. Thus, they will convert to espionage and become available for our service. In conclusion, all warfare is predicated on deceit. When employing our forces, we must appear passive. When we are close, the enemy must believe we are far away. When far away, we must convince the enemy that we are close. Winners understand when to fight, and when to avoid conflict. In contrast to losers, who always fight and frequently lose, winners rarely engage in conflict. Do not enter a battle without first considering how to win. Winners prepare to win by strategizing beforehand. Only engage in combat when you are confident you can win.